Hello. Carpet. Look at my office, it's so cute. So, you guys, I wanted to share something. Heather! So I just found this in my closet. And I'm like, I should really show this. I don't know if it's better with my light or not. Off. So, when I first started my business 2.5 years ago, it was kind of ridiculous. So, at that point, I would never answer my phone because every single phone call was usually a collector calling. They harassed me like no other, like it was bad. Let me minimize this. And minimize. And, so I never answered my phone. Every single time I got like a bill, that like not a main bill, but like just an extra bill, I wouldn't even open it. I was really bad because we had so much debt. This is one of 3. I found it. This is one of those like shoe containers. Like it's huge. You see that? You see that? This is one of 3 that I found with like old collection bills that I didn't open. So it was that bad. Like, so I intentionally am showing you because let's get real. This is reality. Like I can post all day long with like success now, you know, and it's really easy to look in and think like she's so different from me, blah, blah, blah. Like I can never do this. I'm nobody special. I'm super, super, super shy. It took me a long time to get to this point to do live video. Hello, mama. But guess what? The reality was, when I first started, was that we were on the brink of bankruptcy. I was already looking into filing and what fees, and it's quite the hassle. We were on the brink of, and we had already asked family to move in with them so we could save a few and all of that. And who we had asked, you guys, we've lived with them before. They lived with us. And it's like, just the idea made my stomach hurt because it's like, I'm a very, very private person. And it's like, the last thing you want to do is live with family. Like, let's get real. No privacy. You get told what to do. It's scrunchy like sardines, blah, blah, blah. And anytime you mix in finances with like family and stuff, like I always get screwed over. But anyway, so we were either going to do that or move into a small little apartment. I was looking around and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I seriously don't want to go backwards. I didn't want to go backwards. And right now, like our house is huge. It's like a 2,300 square foot, 2-story house. I love it. But at the time, we had already gotten a couple cars repoed. We couldn't even pay for the garbage. Like it was stacking up in our porch upstairs. We had the PUD notice, which I actually collect. Like I like saved one around here somewhere. I wonder where I put it. Anyways, I have it somewhere. But we would get those PUD notices on the door. Yeah, I would get those too. Where, oh, you have 24 hours to pay this ginormous bill, or there you go. So you better bet that if I could even afford a house over my head, and we were always late on our rent, and my landlord hated me. And we couldn't even afford food. Like it was really, really bad that I certainly couldn't pay for our debts that we had accumulated. I never had parents that told me budgeting. He didn't have parents told him how to budget. We were young parents. I got pregnant when I was 19. We made so many mistakes. If I could go backwards, let me tell you. And so that was where we were at when this business came to my life. It's like, oh my gosh, do I need to go back to school? Do I need to pick up more hours? Do I need a 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th job? You know, at the time I was working full time. My husband was working full time. We never saw each other. And I had a brand new baby. And all I could think of was, man, I'm not going to be able to see my baby Cade, like, ever, if I work. And the thought just sickened me because my Kiana, which I have a picture, she's older now, but my Kiana, I was 4 months pregnant starting my x-ray school, and when I had graduated, I had already had her like on my Christmas break. She was tiny. The first 2.5 years of her life, Grandma raised her. And it sucked. I missed a lot of her first walking, first talking, all of that. I missed out on everything. So the idea of going and doing it again with Cade, which he'll be 3 tomorrow, was just like, oh my gosh, like, I don't want to do this. Like, I've already been down that road. So here's this business. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no clue. But guess what? I jumped. Because at that point, I had lost my mom, which to me, there's nothing bigger than that. Nothing. My best friend in life, like, literally I called my mom. I was a mama's girl. Like, there she is. Right there. And that's Kiana and Drajan. I was a mama's girl. I admit it. I was the middle child, and I literally would call my mama like every day because I was weird like that. Even as an adult, I would call my mom. And half the time, I really didn't have nothing to say. I just wanted to talk, you know? And so when she passed away, it was just like this huge void, this huge dark hole, you know? And it really made me second guess everything that I'd done in my life. And just priority. So here it is, you know? And I'm like, I don't want to lose time with my baby. Like, he's my baby. Like, I don't want to be away from him. Like, there's like nothing worse than taking your child away. Like, there's nothing. We're not made to be away from our babies. And so this business came in my lap. I had no clue what I was doing. I had never done anything like this. At the time, I had 50 Facebook friends because I hated people. Like, I admit it. Like, I am super shy. I'm an introvert, and it's like, I don't want to talk to nobody. I had no Instagram, and it was just like, I didn't know what I was doing. And yet, I hit the ground running from day one. Because in my eyes, I had already lost everything. I was already at my brink of it was bad. My kids were unhappy. My husband was cranky. He would beat himself up all day long at the hospital. His shifts were brutal. Like, he would literally come, open the door, and I would take one look, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I knew, like, he was cranky, he was hurting, he was missing us. Like, just feed him, make sure he showers, make sure he gets some sleep, right? But I never saw him, like, ever. Our family time was like a couple hours on a Monday, if we were lucky. And it was just like, man, is this what life is supposed to be? Like, work. And yet we did it. Like, we worked both full time, and yet all these debts were piling up. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't get it. So you guys, like, there's so much more to it. Like, you don't know if you're going to do good at this. I certainly thought I wasn't going to, but guess what? What is worse? Like, you're only going to stay in your situation unless you change it, right? So wherever you're at, maybe you're working a job and you're working full time, and you might love your job, which is awesome. Obviously, stay with your job. But if you have debts, if you don't have no free time, if you're away from your babies, there's more to this picture. To me, my family time takes precedence over everything else. The first goal I had with the business was to get my husband home. It wasn't to make all this money and buy all these fancy things. No, it was family time. Because to me, that's priceless. Like, you can't go backwards in time. That's the one thing you can't control, right? It was family time. So I worked my little tail off for about 4 months. I created a plan, and in 4 months, I got my husband home. And then I'm like, okay, what's my good next goal here? And we just decided to start paying crap off. And like, I don't even know at this point how much thousands of dollars of debts and bills that we have paid now. Like, it's kind of insane. We're working one-on-one with this lady to get our credit score up and to buy a brand new home. I remember sitting at the kitchen table 3 years ago talking to my husband, and I straight up looked at him and I said, we are never going to own a house, just so you know. Like, we'll never get there, like, because it's impossible. We are so, at that point, we were about $150,000 in debt. I think actually a little bit more than that. And I'm like, there's no way we can buy a home with that kind of debt. There's no freaking way. And yet, this is what the business has done for us. This month, I'm hitting the 6th out of 8th rank. Between the two incomes, because I work my husband's chart also, between our two incomes and with my hospital stuff, it's around $20,000 a month. A month. That is crazy. This year, we will both be ambassadors. I don't know if you guys caught my news earlier this week. I'm going to be done at the hospital. I'm a high up supervisor. I'm one of the few ones left. And I make great money. And I don't even work that much. I work 2 days a week. I work 2 16-hour shifts on the weekend. However, in those 2 days, every single week, I miss out on family time. Yes, it's only 2 days a week. And I have had people like, you're crazy. Like, why would you do that? Because I have missed weddings, birthdays. Everybody and their mom is off on the weekends, and I miss everything. And my daughter's, like, all her basketball stuff is always on a weekend. Like, and guess what? I can. I have made way more money doing my side business stuff than the hospital, and I've been doing it. It's just, I'm one where I like my comfort zone. I admit it. And the idea of just, like, quitting, like, it's like, oh, my God. But guess what I did? Yesterday, I reached out to a very special person in the company. And she's the only one that I felt like I could talk to where I could feel reassured with the idea of quitting. She was a previous psychologist, doctor, and she quit to do the business full time. And I'm like, I only know, like, because I make about the same amount, because I make a lot at the hospital. And I'm like, it's the only person I know that was in the medical field, that makes great money, and that took the chance of a lifetime to just quit. Which most people will be like, oh, but why would you do that? And I asked her straight up, I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. How did you know you were just done? And she just like, she gave me some advice, and I could literally feel the rock boulders from my shoulders, like just blink off my shoulders. And I'm like, yes, I know. Like, I don't love my job. I hate it. I admit it. I am so tired of doctors telling me what to do, coworkers not pulling their weight, my boss telling me what to do, for wearing way too many hats, because as a supervisor, that's my role, you know, and we just get shorthanded and shorthanded and shorthanded. 16-hour shift with no break, it sucks, just so you know. And I'm just done. Like, I'm so burnt out. I've been burnt out. Like, I'm great at it, but I hate it. And I get reminded of my mom every freaking time I work. Like, I don't want to see cancer patients. Like, I have no desire to see that ever again. Like, it just brings back all of the memories with my mom, and it sucks. Like, you know, and no, nobody's going to understand me quitting. Even my husband thinks I'm slightly crazy. But it's like, it's what's in my heart, and I thrive off my business. Like, I love it. I love it. And I'm not the only one. So I have 3 of my superstars that are also retiring from their jobs with me. And it's crazy. I know it's crazy that we work our job on our phones. But guess what? Wouldn't you like to make 70 grand like a month? Like, it's kind of nuts. And I hate even saying that number because it seems so fake. And I wish I could show you actual statements, but we're not allowed to. But that's where I'm heading. And it's kind of insane. I will have every single student loan, every single credit card, my car, every single thing paid off this year. And then also have this chunk of money like ready to go for a brand new house. Like, that is my life. It seems crazy that 3 years ago, I am not even kidding you, I couldn't even afford a freaking chicken to cook for dinner. Couldn't. There would be times where I'd make maybe some beans. And if I could afford the chicken, that money might have come from the quarters in the car, or I took them from my kids' rooms. Like, that is how broke we used to be. So to go from that to this in 3 years, would that not be worth even trying? Like, so it's kind of crazy. Hello, honey. What are you doing? He's going to be 3 tomorrow. And you better bet that these last 3 years, he was a 3-month-old newborn when I started. And we have the coolest relationship ever. Like, he just loves me so much. And I know most kids love their mom, but like, we're just buddies. He's a mama's boy. And it is just so much fun watching him grow up the last 3 years. And I got to raise him. Not grandma, not a daycare, me. So you better bet that like I freaking love my life. I love my life. And I can say that with so much confidence and excitement. Like it's awesome. Like it's so freaking awesome. And now all I do is I share to see who else wants to do it. So no, it's not for everybody, but it certainly is worth trying in my opinion. Like if I can do it, shy little lady from a small town of 3,000, like you guys, like I was from a really small town and then I moved to the big city where I know nobody and I don't leave my house really. So if I can do this with absolute no experience, you can certainly do it. So I'm excited. I am so freaking excited. You don't believe me? Go look through the last 3 years of my posts. You can see receipts and videos and all sorts of things that prove that what I say is true. So I love you guys. I just had to share because like, that's kind of crazy. That's a lot of freaking bills. And I have 3 of these that were the old ones. These are all debts from collections. All of them. There's so many in here. It's insane. Like it's shoved to the brink. And I don't have to worry about them no more. And it's quite awesome. So anyways, I hope you guys have a good night. I certainly will. And if you want me to explain things like what the freak I'm doing, just send me a private message so that I get it. Like you're shy. Like that's okay. We'll be shy together. So love you. Have a good night.